is off. Let go of the shame, remove all the pain, block it out like a troll on your timeline. The past is what made you who you are today. Embrace it, let it go like an exhale. Remove it, remove it, remove it. The muzzle is off.
What's going on, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Muzzles of Podcast, where I am your host, Nakia Monet. And I just want to say thank you for everybody that has truly tuned in this month and really watched us this month, as we have really been celebrating all of our great Black entrepreneurs. It just so seems that it worked out that it was all men. So I'm really excited about that. You know what I'm saying? And tonight we have none other than Orane Williams with us. Hey.
Hey, Nakia, how you doing?
You know, I'm good. You know, the evening can be better. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I was going to ask you if you say Monet like Monet in Power.
You know what?
You love her character.
I'm sure. But yes, I do. And being at that, you know, that she is my sister in my head. So I'm happy that she is named Monet. Okay. So yes, I do. Although I don't watch Power, but don't tell nobody. Okay. Well, y'all listening, just act like you ain't just hear me say I don't watch Power, because I don't. But at any rate, okay, Monet is Monet, and I am Nakia Monet. So thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for coming on tonight. And thank you for agreeing to even just, you know, share what you do, share your journey with us and everything like that. Because I just think that it's important that we continue to celebrate us, not just for a month, but all year round. And a lot of the times we don't exactly know exactly what all of us are doing. So I think that it's important that we begin to highlight what it is that we are doing. So why don't you introduce yourself to the people, let them know who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So I am Orane Williams. I am an entrepreneur. My business is called Brand New Motivations. We do empowerment workshops for high school and college students, predominantly around the topics of financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and what I like to call building relationships, also known as networking.
Nice. So, okay. How did you get into doing that?
Great question. So I went to William Patterson University, and when I graduated, I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think a lot of people may have read the book. Nakia, have you read the book?
Yes, I have.
All right. So that book really just kind of like opened my mind and just blew my mind away, because I was never someone who really read for leisure. Mm-hmm. And I just really connected with the book and said, you know, why aren't we in the African-American community taught things about financial literacy, about money, about real estate? And that book and a few other books really just opened my eyes. And I purchased my first house at the age of 23, and I really wanted to impact my community with knowledge around financial literacy. So I just reached out to an organization I was a part of in high school and did my very first workshop at Newark Public Library. So many years ago.
Many years ago.
Yes.
So take us on your journey. with regards to your personal story, how did this really begin to like pique your interest in being this voice and being this motivational speaker and, really giving back into the community and into the young people to help shape them for their future?
I think it stems back to during my time in college. A lot of times various departments might, let's say, a high school group was coming on campus and they might be having a program. They would ask me to sit on a panel or something like that. And I really kind of liked talking about, college to the incoming students, just giving them my perspective on college and college life and things of that nature. And that's what got me really in front of audiences and kind of wanted to speak to young people. I feel like I can connect with them. Not to say that I have some crazy story that they connect with or anything, but I just really like talking to the younger people. So that's when I really was introduced to just being in front of small audiences. Not to say I'm the best public speaker or anything. And then after I read the book, I really connected with some other friends of mine, and we just start to brainstorm on how can we impact the community with this information. And like I said, I just reached out to an organization I belonged to in high school because we didn't have anybody come and talk about this particular topic. And I just pitched it to them and they were like, oh yeah, absolutely. Come on through. And that's how I got started.
So how did you begin to educate yourself with regards to financial literacy?
So I read a couple other books, just trying to teach myself as much as I could. And it's not to say that I'm, some super expert in the subject, but just really taught myself some different things. And I just try to provide young people with the basic foundation. I'm not here trying to tell them about different stocks to invest in or educate them on cryptocurrency. Those aren't my expertise, but I just really want to give them the foundation. So some base level stuff that at this time, many years ago, really wasn't provided within the school setting. And it's not to say that it's a school's responsibility to teach this stuff, but times have changed since then. But that's just kind of the path I took, is just really reading some books and just educating myself on some different aspects around financial literacy.
Did you grow up with a heightened sense of financial literacy?
I wouldn't say I grew up with a high-end sense of financial literacy. I knew some stuff. I didn't know everything. Definitely had conversations with my folks about money. I grew up in a 2-parent household, and we discussed money a little bit here and there. But I'd ask questions and get some information, and try to teach myself some other things as well.
Yeah, like I know, like for myself growing up, both my parents were in banking. My dad was on the retail banking side, and then my mother was on the corporate banking side. She worked in the stock market. So I grew up constantly hearing, conversations concerning retail banking, and then on the other side, the market, right? But one of the things that no matter how many times you actually hear people talking, sometimes it still might not resonate within your own self until you get older and you start going through some different challenges within your own finances, within your own self. And then you now need to become financially literate with all things that have anything to do with, maintaining a good credit score, maintaining a savings account, maintaining even down to investments, down to 401ks and all, the things that you begin to think about as you get older. So how do you instruct the younger generation? Because you really are dealing with high school and let's say, the young entrepreneurial type age. How do you curtail a plan for them that is something that they can actually hold on to for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I like to do is, and just to kind of piggyback off what you said, I think, people of, our generation, I'm gonna just group us in the same generation. We did kind of learn from our mistakes, right? We didn't have maybe the best knowledge, but we probably got a credit card when we was on a college campus because they were giving away a Frisbee or a free t-shirt, not knowing, you have to pay this money back, and, maybe bought something and wind up paying 3 times the price later on. So what I kind of try to share stories like that with the young people, try to teach them some of the terminology like FICO score, and just kind of, I like to relate that to their grades because they understand the grading system in school. So I kind of relate it to that, and I just try to give them stories and make things relatable and integrate them into the workshop, using different scenarios, and just show them how different choices can affect them financially, and just try to really teach them the terms so they can hear these terms, understand what these terms mean, such as, FICO score, such as an interest rate, such as the difference between a checking account and a savings account. What is a stock, and things like that. Just really trying to educate them on some of the terminology most important.
And then, so you said you hold like basically workshops or seminars for them.
Mm-hmm.
And do the schools partner with you in this?
Yes. So I have done workshops with schools, nonprofit organizations, colleges, universities. Sometimes, big conferences. I may submit a proposal for a workshop to be a part of their conference. So different things. So anything from, classroom size group to, a conference room size group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really good. And so do the students typically keep in contact with you afterwards? Like, do you guys maintain like a relationship that potentially could, help them through some I say some of the most difficult phases of life, especially that young adult up until the age of like 27, 30 is can be a little hard depending upon where they're at, where they're going, and especially like if they're in school and stuff like that. Do they maintain like contact with you thereafter?
Not regularly, but I definitely do, and I do share my information with them. And many of them do follow me on social media and things of that nature. And that's primarily how this younger folks, keep in contact these days, right? They're not trying to send emails. They're like DMing you questions and so on.
They're tweeting
to you or something like that. Yeah.
You're gonna get that DM message. You're gonna get some type of a message that knows that hey, I got a question for you. So what would you say is like one of your most impactful areas with regards to what you do?
So I think probably what's most impactful is probably my building relationship workshop, because I feel like young people don't really necessarily understand the benefits of building relationships with people, no matter it's your peers, whether it's your professors, teachers, and just how a relationship could really benefit you in the future. And also what's very, very important when building relationships with someone, it's not about what can I get from that person, but what can I assist that person or help that person with, and something's going to come back to me in return in the future. A lot of people are just like want to be takers, right? Just let me take from this person, take from that person, versus being someone that's going to be helpful to that person, and understanding that, hey, I might not get something from them right now, but later on I may be able to, right, just by having that relationship, having that rapport with someone.
How do you teach this younger generation on how to build relationships?
Man, it's different, it's different. You gotta speak their lingo, right? When I was when I think about when I was in high school, I was a part of a lot of different programs during my high school years, and I think that helped me kind of expand my network of people just outside of just my particular high school, right? Because I was a person, I'm a people person. A lot of people will tell you that, oh, Orane knows everybody, or everybody knows Orane. I don't know, it's just something about me and just connecting with people. And the way I try to explain it to this generation is just trying to have them understand that, you may not think of it, but you're a brand, you're a company. Like, what are you putting out there in the universe that is, going to portray yourself? How do you want to be known and things of that nature, and just trying to have them understand that building relationships can be beneficial.
One of the things that, hey Chantel, hey girl. One of the things that one of my former managers, she literally, I want to say I probably heard that statement every day, is you are your brand and you have to build your brand, right? Even as an adult, working inside the corporate structure, how you present yourself, how you look, how you speak, all of that speaks towards your brand, right?
Yeah,
So how
absolutely.
do you convey that to this younger generation that's coming into a structure that honestly doesn't even look like how it looked when I first entered it, let's say, aging myself, but like 20 years ago, right? Because it's a different world. It's a different nowadays, especially now due to COVID, we're more remote. You're more siloed, working within yourself. Everything you're doing is on video and stuff like that. How do we begin to transition them, and how do you build relationships when we're in such a time now that is very virtual? We're in a very virtual world, and I find that one of the things that this younger generation is struggling with is building relationships because they don't know how to. You're constantly like this. Texting is
Constantly
not building a
texting,
relationship.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think, and I'm still trying to figure it out and navigate this, right? I think what's important is when, especially, when you're in this virtual environment, be present. And being present means having your camera on and paying attention to whatever is going on, right? Especially, for example, me, anytime I've had to do a virtual session with a group, seeing a bunch of just letters that represent people's name is not fun for me because I can't see my audience. I don't know if they're even paying attention or watching. So it's not engaging for me. So it's going to not let me I'm going to try and give you the best energy I can, but it's going to be more impactful for both of us if you're being receptive to what I'm providing for you, right? So that's one way they can do is be present. Also, in building relationships, there's nothing wrong with trying to have a few minutes of actual phone conversation or actual video conversation with someone you're trying to build a relationship with. I know we're very much into the age of just sending text messages or whatever the case may be, but it can be kind of impersonal. But there's nothing wrong with that as well. Even if it's, sometimes I might just send a message to a friend just to check on them. Hey, thought about you today. How you doing? How's everything going on? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that nothing beats that face-to-face time. And especially now where we have the technology where we could just use our phone and we could video call somebody and look them in the eyes. They could be halfway around the world. Hey, what's up? What's going on? And you could spend a few minutes just having a video conversation with somebody too to help, build that rapport. And then from a professional standpoint, email is still prevalent in the professional setting. If you're interested in, some mentorship or an internship, there's nothing wrong with building that rapport via email or sending an email to someone you're interested in, maybe a company you're interested in learning more about. Hi, blah, blah, blah. My name is so-and-so. I'm interested in, what you do at your company. Can we, schedule 15 minutes to have a phone conversation, something like that. I think, some professional may really gravitate towards that and really set aside that 15 minutes to give to you because you took the time to craft an email. And please spell check your email, have someone else read it over and make sure that it is an adequate
Spell check is key.
Yes. And as my mother always says, I write like I talk. So sometimes it might not come across as the best English, my message, but, have someone else look over anything that you want to maybe potentially send out via email.
I know one of the things that, especially when you're in leadership, you have to learn, especially with a lot with this younger generation, although we're in a much more relaxed environment, you have to learn how to still address leaders, right? How do you address your manager? Do you go through it? That is all part of building a relationship.
Can you tell my employees that? Because in my full-time job, I'm in a managerial role, and sometimes they'll just send a message just talking about XYZ, and I'll respond back like, good morning, good afternoon. Like, it's strange, right? That people are like this. Like, this is your first conversation you're sending to me for the day. Say hello. Say hello, Orane. Say good morning, good afternoon, something. Not just saying whatever message you have for me. You know, it's a small, subtle thing, but you know, anytime I'm reaching out to them, I definitely will say hi, good morning, good afternoon, something like that. You know, and I try to be consistent with that. Maybe, you know, I might get caught slipping here and there, but I try to be consistent because, you know, as a leader, as the manager, I want to remain professional, and I expect the same from them.
I just think, you know, so a lot of the time, so for my job, and what we did was they literally had an outside consultant come in and tell us about presence, right? Like I want to say we spent hours on this, how to remain present when you're handling virtual meetings, what type of lighting you should have, how you should sit, how you should, you know, position your body, how, like, right. Everything, because what happens is, and especially when you're attempting to build relationships with people, when you're in a virtual environment. So if you just slouch down like this.
Right. That doesn't look professional. It doesn't seem like you're just trying to relax. You're not, you know, you're not.
But you also look standoffish because you're.
Yeah, true. For a while, I didn't have a professional life, but I got one now. You know, it make me look a little better on camera.
Yeah.
Got my professional microphone as well.
Listen, and we all ended up buying webcams because the different cameras make you look different. You know, some cameras don't pick up the light very well. Other cameras do, right? So all of that stuff plays a major role in building relationships with people. And especially when you're in a virtual world, how do we continue to build on relationships? And I just feel, in my honest opinion, I feel that once text messaging came out, it was like communication went.
Yeah.
Now you have people. I don't talk emoji, right?
I like just myself.
See what I'm saying? Y'all talk those things. People, they talk memes, they talk emojis, they talk those, what do you call them? GIFs. They talk those. And I'm like, and sometimes I'll get it and I'll laugh, but I'm like, is this where communication has gone today? Like this is how we're communicating. We are no longer using words. We're using emoji, we're using memes, and we're using GIFs. And then we have an acronym for damn near everything in the whole wide world. And then when that translates into a person that now wants to, you know, turn into their professional self, and you have no idea how to communicate outside of your GIFs, your memes, and your freaking emojis, who are you talking to?
Yeah. I mean, I don't use those things in a professional setting. But,
no, but some do because they don't understand how to turn that off.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Turn it off. You know, some in certain arenas and in certain areas, it's just not appropriate because you don't know how to build a relationship. And then on top of that, when you think really about building relationships, building a relationship requires a certain level of interpersonal skills. I have to have a level of relatability and interpersonal skills in order to build upon with you. And what I find is that the constant cell phone stuff has broken interpersonal skills because you now don't know how to interrelate with people because it's been broken. And how do you build upon that? And especially, and I'm focusing on this younger generation because this has been their way of life. This is, you know, for us, we knew how to build relationships, right? Because we had to go outside. We had to face people. Nowadays, all these kids need to do is just turn on them game systems.
Right.
You know, all those games.
Metaverse.
And they're connected to the world. I don't need to meet you. Who are you talking to? I don't know. You live in China. Who the hell? You know, we had pen pals growing up, right?
Oh,
Elementary
yes,
school.
I remember
the pen pals?
writing
Right.
letters and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's what we had. So nowadays, and we had to write. That's why y'all can't write today. Y'all need the pen pal. You know what? Where the teachers at? Y'all need to reintroduce the pen pal system into these schools. That's why these kids can't write today, because y'all took away their pen palship. We had the pen pals right in the school. Write your letter to Indonesia somewhere, and now you got a friend in Indonesia. Today, what they do? Turn on that Xbox thing. What's the other thing called?
Or Oculus, the VR headset, or
PlayStation,
PlayStation.
and put them headphones on, and next thing you know, they connected to, some of y'all probably connected to Russia. I'm just saying, you never know.
You're right. You never know.
But that's what happened. So now I don't have to meet you. All I got to do is play a video game with you, Grand Theft Auto, and all these other video games that these kids play, and football, NBA stuff. We playing live. Then what? Then they can't speak. Then they don't know how to put together a proper sentence. They don't know how to even go and ask a simple question. They don't understand the simplicity of whatever it is that your manager just told you to do, because you don't know how to build relationships, and you don't know how to literally speak. You don't want to ask questions, because in this world, in this day and age, you know, I just feel that we have really stifled this generation with a lot that that we were blessed with that they just don't have. And a lot of it forms into building relationships. And it's sad because they don't know how to do it.
Yeah, with the evolution of technology, you know, it has its pros, it has its cons, and like you said, I think maybe, you know, getting back to some of those basic things can help them improve in areas of communication, especially, you know, the written communication and the verbal communication.
Yeah, and the fact that these children, well, I mean, some of y'all adults too, because y'all struggle with two, and two, there, and there, being and been. I have never seen so many 40-year-olds don't know the difference between being and been. There, been, BEEN, is not being.
Yeah, speaking of that, there's this funny young lady who does TikTok videos with
I have
those.
seen her. She's hilarious.
Yeah, she's hilarious, but she's educating the folks at the same time.
And they need it, because you're 40 years old and you know you had language arts and English and you can't spell. Something is wrong there. But then this younger generation, I never figured. I want to say was my nephew had to write something, and I read it and I was like, what the hell is this? What language are you speaking? And is this acceptable?
He probably was writing like he talks.
But they accepted it.
Oh wow!
Us growing up,
Now that's terrible. I don't know what school system he's in, but yeah, that shouldn't be accepted.
He's out of school now, and we bless him. But we couldn't write how we spoke. It wasn't allowed. We literally had, if it didn't make sense, it didn't make sense, and we was getting that good red line.
Yeah.
These kids don't get red lines on anything. You know, the red line was too traumatic for them, so we're just going to give everyone a star. No, they need correction. But it all falls down into building relationships, because in order to form a relationship, you have to be able to be corrected even when wrong, right? In order to build a relationship, you have to have a certain level of accountability. And what I just find that what has happened today is that we have a lot of people, young and old, that lack the ability to be corrected. They lack the ability of being accountable. They lack the ability to be responsible. And because all these areas are lacking, therefore they don't know how to really and truly build successful relationships. And it's not just like business relationships. It's not just friendships. All of this stuff goes across the board, and it literally begins to affect your entire life, because you don't know how to build commonality amongst people. You don't know how to build relatability amongst people. And everybody should, even if you don't agree on everything, you should be able to relate and understand a person. Nowadays, we ain't got none of that. I don't know. It's my spiel for tonight. So far, one spiel. That's where I'm at with it. You got a spiel?
No, I don't have a spiel.
I mean, you could be lucky. I'm a woman. You know, we got spiels about everything. So you also said you also teach on entrepreneurship. What do you do with that?
Yeah, so I just I think everyone should have a business,
Okay.
some kind of business. It could be the simplest thing. So I like to use the simple example with students. I use the example of, if you like to write, let's say you like to write poetry, short stories, you can, create an ebook
Mm-hmm.
on Amazon. You can sell it for 99 cents.
Sure
And you
can.
can always get paid till you die from that one book. You did it one time and you can collect money till whenever, So I use that example. And I think sometimes people think when it comes to being an entrepreneur or starting a business, you need a lot of money. It just really depends on what it is you want to do.
I
If
agree.
it's something simple that really requires minimum money, if you want to write a book, that probably requires minimum money. Now, if you say, oh, I want to open up a restaurant, maybe you might want to take some time, get some ducks in a row
Build your capital.
before you do something like that. But just depending on, what interests you, you can probably find a way to form a business. And I'm not also trying to teach them or tell them that to say, hey, don't go get a job. If you want to have a job, a career or something, that's absolutely fine as well. But you can also have a business, because in America, you get better tax write-offs if you have a business
That's
versus
right.
being a W-2 employee. So I'll just try to teach them some of the pros, or talk to them about some of the pros of being an entrepreneur, starting
Yeah.
some kind of business.
One of the best things you can do is become an entrepreneur and itemize your damn taxes. I tell everybody that. Whatever it is that you choose to do. One of the other great things about becoming an entrepreneur is especially when you can work out of your home. See, before it used to be pre-Trump, throwing that out there. If you
Mm-hmm.
worked from home with your W-2 job and you worked from home, that was a tax write-off because you were using a room dedicated in your home to actually work, because the company did not have to provide the overhead for you to be in an actual office, and you were utilizing your home pre-Trump. Post-Trump, he took that away and basically said, I mean, but you're still working for a company, you're not working for yourself. So the only way how you can write off a portion of, let's say, your home, whether you own a house or even if you live in an apartment, is you have to become your own business and become an entrepreneur. And this is what you are doing out of your home. And then there are so many different ways to to allow everything to work for your good when you become an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Outside of the fact, not just taxes, because that's always a wonderful thing, but also what you begin to instill within yourself. Because when you are an entrepreneur, you are accountable to yourself, especially if you're working for yourself, and you hold yourself accountable for every single deadline that you have conveyed that you're going to do. So it produces a different level of accountability, but it also helps you to build what? Relationships.
Yes. Yes, because you got to get customers, right? Because if you ain't got customers, then you're not really making any money in your business. But and also with holding yourself accountable, you can also backfire because you might be a person who needs someone else to hold you accountable. But then you could get an accountability partner, or you could connect with other entrepreneurs to, have a little small group mastermind, work together, not necessarily work together, but just help push each other to, get your businesses going, or help each other out in business.
I always say entrepreneurship, although any and everybody could become an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. It's a mindset within a person in order to be your own everything, right? And then on top of that, in order to be extremely successful, one of the things that you have to realize is that you have to create a product that someone needs. What Where is there a
And is
market of
willing to
need?
pay for it.
Yeah. So those are the things, those are the areas in which, as an entrepreneur, you always have to think about, you know what I'm saying? What am I here to answer? That's what I say to any entrepreneur. What are you here to answer? Whatever problem you're here to solve, that's what you need to go ahead and do. You know what I'm saying? And it just helps a person to build upon their what? Brand. You are a brand. everything you do, you know, everything you say is all part of your brand. How you look, how you walk, how you talk, how you act, all of that stuff is really and truly part of your brand. And all of it ties into you being this great entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And then to be an entrepreneur, you got to be financially literate, because ain't nothing worse than a broke entrepreneur. One whom doesn't know how to save money, one whom is constantly spending money, one whom is there's nothing worse, because at the end of the day, you can't reinvest back into yourself, because you're forever you're forever in the red, right? So I think so you basically have like a total package that you provide to the younger generation.
Yeah, I'm just trying to provide the tools I think that are important for them, the tools I may have wished I had at their age, and just trying to, share some knowledge and help them make better financial decisions in their future.
I think that's great. You know what I'm saying? And so if this great younger generation, if they could pinpoint one thing that they would be like, man, I know him. This is what I remember him by. What would that be for you?
Whew, man, I probably would say that Orane really lives and enjoys his life. That's what I would say.
That's what they would get from you. Like, you really live and enjoy your life.
Yep.
Providing information, providing knowledge, providing a foundation for them to be able to succeed.
Yes. And providing, I also share some, travel experiences with them as well, because I love to travel. Mm-hmm. So I probably will start off a workshop with, a couple photos, because a majority of places or, audience I've spoken to may have not been as fortunate to travel outside of their neighborhood or outside of their state. So I always like to show them that, to give them kind of like that sense of hope that, hey, Black people, Black men do travel to these different states or countries and so on and so forth. And you can too have these same experiences. I'm no different than, you are.
So you basically show your life experiences and say, listen, you too can have this.
Yeah.
When you do something like that, how is that received? Like, what is the typical response when you do something like that? Is it like, yo, wow?
Well, yeah, definitely wow, because some audiences have been outside the country, some have not. Some do have aspirations to, I want to go there, or I know someone else that went there, I want to go. So it is well received. I think people gravitate towards some of the pictures that I've shared in my presentations, and they want to, they may want to do the same. And I think especially in today's world of social media and, some of these exotic places or certain places, people want to go there just so they can do the same picture that they seen someone else do in, certain places. There's just like iconic photos that you just, if you had to see this, it's like going to, if you go to Paris, you got to see the Eiffel Tower. Like, you're
right.
not going to Paris and not see the Eiffel Tower.
No, but that's good, because, like you said, sometimes children have not experienced the world outside of their neighborhood, outside of their own, home state, or unless someone has some type of family in the South, and there's always some type of reunion or something like that going on in the South, right? So when you open up the possibility, like, yo, this is possible. You don't never have to stay stuck. You don't never have to feel stuck. You don't never have to be stuck. Here is a large open world that you can get into. Let me ask you something. Have you ever done like the juvenile jails, detention centers?
No, but I did work with a organization out of Roselle, and I did do some work with people who were juveniles that were transitioning out, and in a halfway house, and did some mentoring with them.
Because I think that sometimes, and especially when we have youth that are a little troubled, just due to certain life choices, when they have the option to see differently and to do things differently, they will. if it's readily made available to them to choose a different option. So I think maybe a program like that, especially, even for young men, that end up in the prison system, sometimes, there is recidivism because I
They
don't see
know
hope.
nothing else. Yeah,
Mhm.
they know nothing else, or no one shows them something else.
Or how to do something else, right? Because sometimes you can get caught up, you can get so caught up in the everyday of this is fast, this is easy, I could do it,
Fast money, yeah.
as opposed to saying, but if I come up with a plan and become an entrepreneur, I could do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can hold on to it, I could retain it, I could keep it, I could sustain this. This ain't sustainable because at the end of the day, at any point in time, somebody could come kick in my door. But this is mine and this is legal. So, and no one can take it. They can't question the legitimacy of this money. And I don't know. I just think that a program like that would be good, even for the, young men in prison, the youth prisons, and even, the halfway house programs and stuff like that, just to introduce entrepreneurship, to introduce how do you build relationships, to introduce financial literacy, right? I think I saw a meme one time and it said, which was very true. It said, some of the best entrepreneurs are ex-drug dealers. They already know.
Yeah, they know business because it's just they got the skill set. It just a different product that they need to put those skills towards.
You got to find a demand for a legal product.
Legal product. They know how to manage people. They if they manage the corner boys,
right?
They manage folk, right?
You know what happens when that money come up short. You understand accounting better than some of these accountants.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. There's always where there's a will, there's a way. You just got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And figure it out the legal and right way. But I think sometimes having different programs in place would really help people to correct their behavior sooner rather than later on in life. So the fact that you deal with, the high school, college, young professional ages is really good because it's a way to grab a hold of that mental before something or someone else does. And then next thing you know, they're traveling down the road of a lot of opposition in order to get to a road of the least opposition. So I think it's a great program. What else you got for us? What else you got?
What else I got? What else you want to talk about?
I mean, wow. What I did want to talk about a little bit is the fact that you're an author. And I know you said you co-authored like in a book or two or whatever, but
I went and grabbed the book so I wouldn't forget either. So it's called Boys to Men, the Guide for African American Boys. And I wrote a chapter on entrepreneurship. Basically just kind of just outlining how you can start your own business as a young man if you wanted to, start a business, and some of the basic terminology.
Wouldn't it be good to like blow that out into your own book and boom?
Yes, it would. But actually, I do want to write a book on a financial literacy book. I've started working on it. I have my title that I'm not going to share yet, but I just need to really put forth the effort to finish it and get it done and really put it out there. But it has been a dream of mine to release that book, and I hope to do it.
I hope you do it too. We got all these other, everybody's, we have all these other books, with financial literacy, you know what I'm saying? A lot of programs and stuff like that, but it would be good to see one of us do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to do it. I got to hold myself accountable. That's what it is.
Right. So by this time next year, you should be well into book launch.
Do you have a book? I think you have a book. Oh, okay.
I do. I definitely do. I co-authored the first book, When the Soul Cries, and then I wrote my own second book, The Secret Wives, The Lies That Bind, and within the next 2 months, we'll be releasing my third book.
Oh, awesome. So you got the keys to writing a book, then we're gonna have to chat about that.
For sure. I love to share wealth of knowledge to anybody that is willing to accept it. So I will definitely assist you with that. And because I think it's important for us to just at the end of the day, when we have the information, it's important for us to write it. So let us all just write. I want everybody to write. I think a lot
We
of
all have a story to tell, right?
yeah,
I
and
think
tell it
everyone should have a book.
and tell it well. So yeah. Okay. So then, did you say you were an actor?
So I've acted in two plays, at my church, and I was like a main character. First time ever acting. It was an interesting experience, just trying to memorize lines and so on and so forth. I actually had fun with it. This was several years ago though, but it was a cool experience. And yep, so that's my acting experience.
No, but it's dope. We should be multifaceted. We should do whatever we do. We should do a lot of it and do it well. You know what I'm saying? So when you're a creative person, author, speaker, actor, that's all part of the creative. So when you're a creative person, that's how your mind flows. So you just birth out all types of creativity. I am not an actor. They'd have to hold up cue cards and be like, say this. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. My memory is trash.
And one time I was like a backup for a character on New York Undercover. This was so long ago. I was a kid.
Right. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
I mean, but that was one of the best TV shows,
Yeah, they brought it back onto BET, I think.
Yeah, they shouldn't do that type stuff, but it's okay. I get why they do that, but some things can't be revisited. We just gotta let it be where it's at. So no, but so I really don't have any additional questions because I really think that all the information is truly out there, with regards to what you do, how you do it, why you do it. And I think that is really inspirational, especially for our young Black youth, just the young youth, in general. But I'm talking about young Black youth today because I just feel that sometimes our youth can be the most forgotten about.
Absolutely.
And so it takes people like yourself to, pour back into them and to give them exactly what they need, which is financial literacy, which is how to build relationships, which is how to become an entrepreneur, why you should want to become an entrepreneur, what you can do with entrepreneurship and just having an entrepreneurial mind. So I think it's great. Anything else you would like to say with regards to what you do, who you are? I know you said you're working on something. You can't quite say it right now, but
yeah. So I would like to also, start my own podcast. Once again, something else I need to hold myself accountable for.
Write a list, make it plain.
And also expanding upon my business, Brand New Motivation. We're going to be hopefully within later this year, early next year, also just designing workshops for kind of like corporate America, not necessarily workshops around financial literacy, but more like e-learnings around some corporate stuff. Not sure, kind of the topic areas, but that's just going to be, another facet that I'm trying to add to the business.
So basically, stay tuned. That's what you're saying?
That's right. Stay tuned. And you can always stay tuned via, feel free to check my website out. It's www.oranewilliams.com. So that's ORANE Williams.com. And please, please, please connect with me on Instagram at Orane Speaks. I'm also on TikTok at Orane Speaks, but I'm still trying to learn how to even use the thing because TikTok is a whole nother beast of a social media platform.
It is. I'm still trying to. I don't do anything on TikTok outside of maybe I post up flyers on there.
Yeah, TikTok is. I try not to even go in the app because you could just get sucked in by all the you got to do so much even exit the app. So I try not to even go in there, but I haven't figured out even how to do a video on there yet. But
no,
excuse me,
you haven't?
No, I haven't. I tried to do one and it said the video was in 4K and they only do 1080p or something. I don't know, so I never tried after that.
I don't blame you. It can be a little cumbersome. I try and get help from this younger generation, so I'll ask my nephews and all them, how do you figure this out? What do I need to do? But for the most part, I just post flyers and do a voiceover, and that's life for me on TikTok.
And also, it's like trying to, as a creative, trying to think of what's a creative thing to do that it's going to be entertaining and catchy and funny or whatever the case may be. So trying to get those ideas can sometimes be challenging as well, because it's all about those, those TikTok like videos are what's really just catching fire.
TikTok and Reels.
And Reels, right. Yeah. So I did a travel reel recently, and that really, really did very, very well. Got a lot of views, a lot of shares, and so on and so forth. So it's really just finding what information, not necessarily information, but how to put out the information you want to put out in the most entertaining and creative way, and using the right song that's catchy right now. That's like a big thing too, right? I did one of those catchy song videos as well with what's the song called? Gone to the Moon. Talking to the moon. Yeah. Where you put yeah, I did that. So I did one of those.
I mean, we have to try everything, right?
Yeah, you gotta try everything, see what works.
And especially when you're building your brand, you just have to step outside your own comfort zone. I have a problem stepping outside my own comfort zone sometimes, because I don't all that creating videos and reels is, I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to? I don't know how to do this, but it's one of the things that I even told myself that I have to start doing even the more, which is improving upon how I advertise and also extra stuff. So the reels and the TikToks really do help. So you just gotta do it.
Yeah, just gotta do it.
So now hold yourself accountable for starting your podcast, writing this good book, all these good things. You just gotta write it down and be like, okay, I'm gonna check this off and I'm gonna check that off, and just do it.
Yeah, like Nike said.
That's it. Just do it. All right. So anything else you would like to leave the good people with? You already told you how to reach out to them. You got, the website right there, OraneWilliams.com.
I want to thank you, Nakia, for and having me on your show. I'm sure there's a lot of different entrepreneurs you could have had. So I'm honored to be one of your guests. I hope your audience enjoyed the episode, and I hope my viewers enjoy the episode as well, and they can connect with you as well, because I feel like one of the things that I wanted to do more of this year, in kind of in preparation of doing a podcast, but just also I think in having, especially if you have a podcast style show with guests, it's a mutual thing, right? The guest is going to get in front of your audience. You're going to, as the host, you're going to get in front of the guests people. So it's kind of a mutual beneficial thing. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to do more shows this year versus that I've done before, because I feel like it's a beneficial thing. It helps me to be able to speak more about what I do. It helps the host to get attention from a new audience, and just helps me to learn different hosts' process and how they do their show and what platforms they use, because everybody does something different.
And there's so many different platforms to use. You just, you got to choose the one that works best for what you want it to work for. Because I'm always searching out different platforms and stuff like that. I kind of like the one that I'm on, but there's always, there's always something to continuously grow upon and look at. So I am notorious for that. I'm always looking at different platforms, and then, with these good Facebook algorithms and how they watch everything you do. Once I look at another platform, it's like 15 other ones pop up and follow me wherever I go. So yeah, but one of the best things I figured, like when I started the Muzzle Off podcast, I just had to start. I had something to say. So when you have something to say, then you say it, and you don't allow anyone to censor what you're saying. And that's one of the things that I love about this platform, is the fact that I don't allow anyone, whether I agree with you or not. I'm gonna tell you whether I agree with you or not. Like, I don't have no area, and you can tell me whether you agree with me or not. I don't have any area with that. But there's no censorship. No one has the right to tell a person they can't say what they truly feel.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I take to heart when it comes down to podcasting as a whole. It's allowing people to be true to themselves and true to their own thought, and allowing them to express that, whether you like it or not. So but that's just me. I refuse to be, like other people and an attempt to act like a person can't speak. No, you can. Open your mouth. It's
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. That's why it's called the muzzle is off, right?
Yeah, that is exactly why it's called the Muzzle's Off podcast. And that's why this muzzle stays off. And we don't allow anyone to put a muzzle back on us. So anyone that comes on here, I tell them either behind the scenes or I'm about to say it live and direct. Don't allow anyone to muzzle you in your thought process, your feelings, your emotions. No, none of that. Be free in that, and be able to express yourself. Express in a healthy manner. We don't do toxic expressions over here, but you are able to express yourself in a healthy manner. So with that being said, I want to thank you for being a guest on the Muzzle is Off podcast. I want to thank you for explaining what you do, how you do it, and for you just being the inspirational person that you are, the motivational person that you are, especially for the youth. And I truly do believe that there should be a program that you potentially should look into with regards to the prison system, juvenile system, even within the court system, because sometimes if there is another way, then that other way should be provided. And I think a lot of us are lacking because the other ways are not necessarily being provided. They're not being promoted. And when you have a parent that really wants to help their child, but they don't know how to show them something else, then you can have an entire program for them that will really show them another way, that there is another way, that there are other things. And then even in certain instances, you can educate adults who really don't have the knowledge base of financial literacy, of how to build relationships. You can even help some of these adults. Some of y'all who can't spell.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I'm gonna definitely look into that.
Yeah, because it's something that we need now, right? When you think about it, like, and I really am going to go log off. But when you think about when you think about like the original Black Panther Party, right? And when you think about, let's say, the original Young Lords, right? One of the things that we did the most back then in the 50s and in the 60s was we created our own programs to help us. And one of the things that we are lacking with is there's a lot of funding for us to do that. But when we finally do create these programs, the people don't come. So now we need to take it to you. So now we got to utilize a system that truly was not built for us or shaped for us, and utilize that system and get inside of the government and say, no, if I have a program, right? Kind of like similar to how people use that ISP program, which in my honest opinion sucks, right? Because what they do is they put you on a leash and tell you join this program because it'll prevent you from having to go to jail, but you feel like you're in prison while you're at home. So similar to how they do a program like that is how we need to also have our own programs of community development programs that are live and direct, that will truly sit and help, because we need a lot of help within our communities. Part of the issue with our communities is the fact that it's so we don't have the knowledge base and the structure to build up. So the only thing we can do is tear down. So how do we build up? A lot of this building up comes from knowledge and it's not that the knowledge isn't out there, but we don't know how to seek after it, and so that it becomes readily available. So I think probably you and good old Ras Baraka need to have some conversations concerning a lot of these different programs, that you can put forth in Newark, and it can start within the public school system and then work its way up. That's my opinion. Take it to Ross.
I love it, Nakia.
Cool beans. So with that, we are going to say good night. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for joining. If you want to catch us, we will not be live next week. Sorry, y'all. We will not be live next week, but we will come back the week following. I have a topic that I really want to talk about, and we're going to talk about it because I believe in having all types of uncomfortable conversations, because y'all need to start being comfortable with the uncomfortable. So we're going to talk about what I want to talk about, and I'm not going to announce it just yet, but you'll probably hear more about it next week when I get this whole panel set up for the conversation that we're going to have. So until the week after next, whatever that date is, I don't know what that is. I believe it's like, I don't know, the 10th or somewhere around there, whatever that date is, until the week after next.
The 8th.
Boom. See, somebody's going to tell me the 8th. Until the 8th, y'all, have a good night, and we out.